And ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, wherever you may be watching this game, we hope you're having a good day. Welcome to MRH High School for girls volleyball matchup, the third match in the past 5 days for the Maplewood Richmond Heights Blue Devils. We've got JV action to start off, and then we'll go right into varsity. That start time is slated for 5 o'clock p.m. My name is Michael Langston. I'm alongside Michelle Ryan for this broadcast. Our crew is Eliza Eggers and Mr. John Redden. MRH going to be on the left or near side of your screen. White tops, black bottoms for the JV contest. For Bayless, right or far side of your screen, the Broncos wearing the green tops, black bottoms. They will use a libero for the JV game. She is wearing the white top and black bottom. As the referees going through their final checklist, making sure they've got a right ball to use. And Michelle, well, what do you think about this one? MRH has lost the past 2 games, 1 and 2 on the season.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of heightened tension, especially seeing as Bayless hasn't lost any games yet. And I mean, there was such a good success with Brentwood that I'm hoping they're probably still trying to run off that success despite the 2 recent losses.
Bayless starts off the JV contest with an ace. We are underway. Served there by the Broncos. MRH with their first play of the match for JV, and they bump it over for Bayless, who will try to set it over the net, but it goes right into it. And the Blue Devils pick up their first point, their first serve.
I'm already noticing that Bayless has used their libero quite well, and I'm surprised to see a libero on the JV team, seeing as Maplewood doesn't have one. Brentwood didn't have one when they played them. It's something you usually see on a varsity team.
As that one will go out for an MR ace. And, you know, Crossroads yesterday, too, when the Blue Devils, well, their varsity team lost in 4 sets to the Current, as that one will go for another MR ace. JV didn't, but both varsity squads did, and the varsity for Crossroads was a real difference maker, making some really good serves. As a serve there by Maplewood with a close play to the net that just isn't defended as well as they wanted to for the Blue Devils. Now the score 3-2 early on in the first set. JV, you play a best of 3. Varsity, you play a best of 5. As that serve hits the hardwood for the Broncos. Overhand serve by the Blue Devils that will go as an MR ace. And that right there for MRH, that's Lexi Brooks, the freshman who had herself a great JV contest yesterday. Capitalizing a bit here to today as Bayless will bump it 3 times to get it back over. And a good diving play there by the Blue Devils to set up Brooks, who with a great spike will have a play that results in a point.
All right, Brooks is going to be serving again.
The 2 sets there and a hard spike that goes out. And the Blue Devils going on a bit of a run, trying to get the rust out that they had yesterday. Lexi Brooks using her height to get that good serve over, but then they will call a double hit for Bayless as they try to get it back over. And the Broncos will call the first timeout of this contest. Michelle, I think based on what we've seen with the play, the size of the Blue Devils in this match is what's kind of helping them out. You've got taller girls using their power, especially on the serves.
Oh, definitely. If you have tall people that are able to, you know, when the ball comes into the net, just being able to swat it back, just being able to just tap it over and it to land on the other side. There's a little bit of depth perception that comes into play when you're playing that close to the net, and there's also the intimidation factor as well. So it's definitely helpful, especially if they're able to fend off the ball before it gets toward the middle of the court where people have to scramble to get it.
If you're just joining us, welcome to Maplewood Richmond Heights High School's gym. We've got JV girls volleyball action between the MRH Blue Devils and the Bayless Broncos. First set as that serve there by Brooks was hit back over by Bayless. Maplewood sets up for a hard overhand spike. That one will go out. The libero will check out for Bayless. We saw a lot of libero substitutions yesterday when the Blue Devils lost to the Current as that serve goes out of bounds. MRH picks up the point. And Michelle, yesterday the Blue Devils just were not able to stop any runs, and they weren't able to really get any good runs for themselves to overcome any sort of deficits. What do you think they need to do today as that serve goes out? It will be a Bronchos point. What do you think MRH needs to do today to keep their runs going, keep the momentum up?
Well, they'd recently been doing it until the serve went to Bayless. Just being able to rack up points through aces, being able to have good serves that cause the other team to falter in communication. And we saw that a little bit. They do have a lead currently from their good serves. We had Brooks serve a number of times. And I think they need to continue to do that, being able to get those aces that will allow them to stay ahead. When it gets into that back and forth, one team serves, there's a server error, and then the other team serves. That's when it gets very messy, and you don't have a chance to have good volleys.
We just saw there another MR ace for the Blue Devils. As Bayless sets up a spike there, but it wasn't very hard, and now the Blue Devils bump it back. Bayless with a bump, a set, and a spike, but it goes into the net. MRH extends their lead to 8 here in the first set. 12-4 the score. A spike by the Broncos. And a bit of miscommunication. The ball almost falls into no man's land. And that one will go out for a Broncos point. Broncos have an interesting way of spelling their mascot name. They spell it B-R-O-C-H-O-S.
That's interesting.
And of course, every time we see an ace, we saw it especially yesterday, there's a bit of a call and response celebration. MRH, as that one goes out for an ace.
Sam tries her best to dig, but it pops up, and that must not have been very comfortable to have the ball fly in the face like that, but it was an admirable effort. Bayless is serving again.
Oh, you see that a lot. You'll see guys go down trying to bump it, and then it just takes a weird angle, and it might hop up and catch them hard in the chin.
It just pops up.
Bayless readying themselves again as the bump comes over from Maplewood after a good spike. Good one-handed play close to the net. Action that will result in a Blue Devil point. You know, as I was saying earlier, all these teams kind of have a different ace celebration. MRH, of course, on the court, they'll do M, and then the bench will go R, and then the stands will go H or ace, depending on how you want to do it. I like to say ace. I think that's more fun. And then Bayless, they will spell out ace, both the court, then the bench, then the stands. We've seen that a couple times here today. But that one will not go for an ace as it fell just out of bounds.
That was a little bit of a communication there. It looked like landing right there in the front line of players, but I don't think anyone was able to get there in time. There's always that assumption in JV, oh, somebody else will get it, which is why I think coaches work really hard on communication when you have JV players, because it's something you will use if you continue in volleyball to varsity.
Speaking of coaches, Coach Nobi over there, the coach on the bench for the Blue Devils. Coach Carmen at the scorer's table, she's the varsity coach. We saw a lot yesterday in that contest when the Blue Devils took on the Crossroads Current. It was more of an issue of communication in the back and getting numbers to the back, because that's where they put the ball. There was a lot of bunching up closer to the net. With Crossroads, it seems as though on some of these plays where they've lost points, they're bunching up closer in the backcourt, almost like they're expecting a spike. And then the ball just kind of, it's a little bit of a dinky hit over the net that falls right onto the court. It's a good serve there by the Broncos that goes down as an ace. 5-point game here in the first set, 15-10. MRH on top as that one goes out for another ace. Feels like we already got a bit of a really good competition here.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of energy. Both teams are in it to win it. I'm seeing a lot of action from Smith there, just playing towards the back. It seems that they're serving right in that area, so she's seeing a lot of action right now.
Little quick action there on a couple bumps that instead of going up high and being a bit loopy, they were more line drives. The Blue Devils unable to corral it, and now the Broncos reduce the lead. It's only 3 points now, their deficit. As a bit of a misread there for Amara Akridge, will go out for an ace, and the Broncos celebrate as the Blue Devils called their first timeout.
This is a very good time to call a timeout if you want to change your game plan a little bit, because they are still in the lead by 2 points, and you need a 2-point lead in this game to win a set. So if you want to change anything, or I mean, I'm sure the coach is mentioning communication, being able to get to the corners in time, and it's important you maintain that 2-point lead to win the set, which will go to 25 points.
That's right, first 2 sets go to 25, and then, the third set, that one also will not go to 25. It actually will go to 15, but it's also a little bit like basketball, wouldn't you say, where you just kind of want to break up the momentum if one team's going on a really good run.
Definitely. All right, Bayless is serving again.
It's a good, hard overhand serve by the Broncos. The Blue Devils will play it back on a bump, and Bayless right in front of the net, using good presence. They knock the ball back down. They'll have the point again. It's only 1 separating these two, 15-14, as the serve comes in and goes down as an ace.
I noticed number 16 is actually Kyla Brooks. I was calling her Talia Smith for a while because of the jersey numbers. They changed with the color of the uniform, but currently MRH is in white, so that's Kyla Brooks. I thought it was. I wasn't entirely sure depending on the roster, but she's the one playing the back of the court currently.
Well, that's all good. We all do that sometimes. And hey, jersey numbers, you're right, they do change. Sometimes with players, though, especially with the Barrows, they'll keep the same one as that serve goes out. The Blue Devils will rotate, and it will be Savannah Winning, the freshman, to serve. Broncos off a set and a bump. They will spike it and get the point. What once was a bit of a commanding lead early for Maplewood has now turned into a 1-point deficit. 16-17, the Blue Devils behind. Setting up the overhand spike there. And then a spike by the libero for Bayless that can't be handled.
Winning tried to save it, but the service back to Bayless.
It was Akridge just maybe getting eaten up a bit too much on that one. And now the serve by the Broncos. Akridge again getting eaten up, but you can tell she gets a little pep talk by Coach Noby. She's kind of understanding there. All right, I know what's coming at me. I know what I need to do now. Blue Devils decide to play it even though it was really close to the line. The spike there for Bayless. A bump, a set, and a spike. Akridge once again is there. She had it too, but it just kind of took a weird angle. 4 points now, 20-16. We played at 25 for the first 2. If we end up going to a third.
Bayless is definitely targeting the back of the court. They have some very powerful servers, and currently that tactic is working for them.
Coach Noby will call another timeout for the Blue Devils. Looks like they're going to maybe change up a bit who's where with the rotation. Might make a sub or two coming out of the timeout. We're at MRH High School bringing you girls JV volleyball action. Bayless Broncos in the MRH Blue Devils. I'm Michael Langston. Alongside me is Michelle Ryan. Our crew today, Mr. John Redden and Eliza Eggers. Stick around after the JV contest. We're still in the first set, but after JV, we'll have varsity best of 5 between the Broncos and the Blue Devils. MRH on the left or near side of your screen, white tops, black bottoms. Bayless on the far side, green tops, black bottoms. Their libero wearing a white top and black bottom. MRH not using a libero in JV as the serve coming out of the break was handled very well by Acreage, but MRH didn't really have anyone by the net.
No, I think I saw Swift definitely hustling to get there, but it didn't seem like anyone was in that corner. So another communication error, or not entirely confident of staying where your position is, trying to get there. That can cause for the ball to maybe go toward the back of the court or the front of the court, and while you're preoccupied with its current location, you're not thinking of the next move where the ball could go next.
Acreage off of the ace is able to settle it down, and a hard spike there for the Blue Devils will result in a point after the Bronco libero just couldn't handle it. It's Lexi Brooks there who spiked it hard and got the point, and now she will spike it hard on the serve. It's played right back to the Blue Devils, goes back over the net, and Bayless unable to do anything with it.
I'm sure MRH is glad to have possession of the volleyball back. I'm sure they're glad to have the serve after a little while being plummeted by Bayless. They're currently 2 points away from securing the match point.
And now they are...
Now they're 1 point away.
Yeah, there you go. You got 1 point until they've secured the match. A set point here for Bayless. Hard overhand spike there. Blue Devils trying desperately to do something with it. Well, I just want to say, I think that one went a little quick. Lexi Brooks didn't have enough of an opportunity to really get a good overhand bump with it to get it back over the net. And with that, the first set has ended. The Broncos win it 25-18. They'll take about a 3-minute breather, get their stuff together, get ready to go for the second set.
Yeah, MRH still has a chance. If they win the next 2 matches, then they will win the game. But of course, it doesn't feel good to lose the first match. So you don't want to set a precedent in that case of losing. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talks, maybe reorienting their strategy. Like I said, Bayless looked like to be targeting the back of the court, so they might want to try and have a little bit more communication back there, having people sort of move back there when they see a powerful serve come from Bayless.
Looked like they were going after Acreage a lot in the back, but it seemed as though as the contest went on a little bit, Acreage made an error or two at the beginning. She really started getting her confidence back, was actually doing a pretty good job of getting a couple good digs, saving it, eliminating the possibility of Bayless picking up an ace in the back of the court. And of course, after this, we're going to have varsity. That one starts at 5 p.m. between these same Broncos and the Blue Devils. The Bayless Broncos varsity squad is an interesting story this year. They've played in 3 matches. 2 of them have been home games. One of them has been a road contest. This will be their 4th matchup. And by the way, they are undefeated and they haven't lost a set. They've swept each set that they've played in.
Well, I'm sure that's not, I don't think MRH is happy to hear that. I'm sure there's going to be nerves. I was talking to Abby Stone just before the game here today, and they still feel very confident. They were glad to beat Brentwood, but they were a little bit unnerved with how far Brentwood was able to go. They played the 5 sets, which was the first time they had ever played 5 sets this year, period, but also against Brentwood. Brentwood has never even managed to go beyond 2 sets with MRH. So that's a little bit unnerving when you have somebody before you that you think will be an easy win, but they fight as hard as Brentwood did. So I'm sure that's not leaving a good feeling behind.
And Bayless, their last contest, well, that was against Brentwood. That was at home, swept them 3 straight. Each of their wins was by 10 points or more in those sets. As we get ready for the second set of this JV contest. If you're just joining us, we're at MRH High School. Matches here today between the Bayless Broncos, who are on the far or right side of your screen. Green tops, black bottoms. The libero for Bayless on the right side wearing a white top, black bottom. The Blue Devils JV squad on the left or near side of your screen. White tops, black bottoms for them. No libero for the JV contest. I'm Michael Inkson alongside Michelle Ryan. Our crew today is Mr. John Redden and Eliza Eggers. As we get ready to go for the second set, Coach Noby for the Blue Devils JV team just making sure the serving rotation is right, and now the referee's doing the same. Bayless waiting, ready to go. We don't even know who's got the serve yet. Except now we do. It will be the Blue Devils to start off.
Right. Savannah Winning will be serving for the Blue Devils.
Savannah can come up clutch a few times for MRH as that serve goes into the net. There have been a couple times where it's been like, you know, a bit of a scramble for the ball.
Yeah.
And then you see Savannah just kind of pop in out of nowhere.
Yeah, I saw her chase after the ball several times when it's close to going out. I'm sure there's that hope that you'll get up a volley or save a ball that you could get a point off when Bayless is least expecting that. And we're seeing that a lot from Savannah Winning.
Bayless, though, they get out to the early 2-0 lead, and there's Winning again sprinting for it, but it will go out for a Broncos ace.
Currently, I think it's coming down to how strong Bayless is serving. We're getting a lot of powerful serves from them that are going to the back of the court where there's just nobody.
And the Blue Devils adjusting a bit to that as they put in Ellen Powell, who was able to save that bump off the rafters, and now Bayless will spike it for them to play. A bump there by the Blue Devils. The Broncos, a bump, a set. Bit of a hesitant move there to get it back over. But the Blue Devils, once again, and we're getting a good volley going. Spike by the Broncos. That will help them out and result in a point.
The Broncos are serving again. Powerful serve that was just out, it looks like.
Can see there on the court you have Ellen Powell kind of in the back. She's moving more towards the far side, walking up to the net. She's been a swing player between JV and varsity. Coach Carmen saying she's been doing a really good job of helping out JV, and also on the varsity side of things is that one will be a Maplewood point. And she's been very good at setting, very good defensively as well, which is probably the reason why they brought her in for this second set.
Looked like that was a double touch. All right, Bayless's libero will be serving. Goes into the net and it goes to Maplewood. Okay, Sabbath serves, a bump up by Bayless. A little bit of a falter where they're not quite sure where to go, but it was bumped over to MRH again and spiked over to them. Oh, it was a very good save, a bump by Maplewood, and just with a slight tap, the Broncos get the point. The ball hits the floor.
It was a good play there by Ellen Powell initially to save that play up near the net. And then we saw this especially yesterday, a lot of good back and forth action right at the net. It can kind of confuse you too because you got to look out for your peripherals with the net and the players on the other side, and it might discombobulate you or screw you up as that one goes out for an MR ace.
Sabbath will be serving again. Looked like her serve was just in. The Broncos weren't expecting it. A bump by the Broncos, a set, and a spike Powell got in there, and it did go out of bounds, but Swift did run after it.
We've said it once, we've said it 100 times. These rafters, these basketball nets, the tarp hanging from the middle, they're all going to play a factor. The ball's going to take a weird carom off of them.
Very good dig by Maplewood, but the Broncos get the point. Yes, as you said, just the amount of stuff hanging from the ceiling. It's this canopy of just green rafters and just different nets that are hanging down. So sometimes the ball does ricochet off our very low gym ceiling here.
You got 2 straight aces there for the Broncos. They lead in the second set. Remember, we played at 25 for the first 2 of JV, as there will be a substitution for the Blue Devils. That'll be Lexi Brooks coming in. And you talk about the rafters. Right now, if I kind of lean my head a little bit, I can see a volleyball from a match up there.
Oh yeah, stuff gets stuck here all the time.
That last play too, you had a ball go off the rafters, but it goes out for a Bronco point. It was good play though to stay with it going off the rafters.
All right, Bronco serves toward the middle of the court, a bump, and no one was there, so Broncos get the point. It's very important to sort of stay around your position when you run to the location where the ball is at currently. You sometimes forget about the next play, and I think that's something JV is currently struggling with. A powerful bump by Sabbath, but it is out, and Bronco is serving again. I'm noticing this a lot where there are very powerful serves or bumps where it's not quite towards the net, and just the power of that bump after receiving a serve, it tends to go out a bit.
Saw that a bit yesterday, especially with MRH and Crossroads. That one goes in though, as the line judge using her flag to indicate it was in.
Very aggressive flag.
The flag flew off. Saw that yesterday though. Crossroads had a couple really good servers that when they served it, it was almost like a knuckleball, but it was a hard, almost line drive knuckler. And MRH, Ayanna Jones, did a really good job of giving it back to him.
A set to Maplewood by the Broncos, a set by Maplewood, a bump over to the Broncos, and it gets tangled in the net, a point to MRH. Swift is serving again.
Can kind of hear the benches coming alive to cheer on their classmates, their teammates.
A set by the Broncos and a spike, and back of the court, nobody was there.
It's a good play there. Most of the time when you see coaches and they're talking about what they want their players to do when setting up for a spike or a serve, they want them to stay as straight as possible with their back, but you saw there a bit of a lean back, and that actually helped get a better angle on it.
Wow, Maplewood saved a volleyball that was going out. I'm sure they were hoping to get a point from that serve, but the point went to the Broncos. All right, server error. It's going to Maplewood. I'm sure they're happy to have the serve.
You could see after that one, that was Lexi Brooks talking to Avery Swift about it, but now you have Brooks serving.
Wow, a great dig by the Broncos, which was saved by Maplewood. And it looked like both Brooks and Powell ran to the same spot to try and bump it back. Brentwood serving, not Brentwood, the Broncos serving.
They both start with a B, I don't blame you.
And again to the back of the court. I think they found a strategy that they like, and they're hammering it for all they have it. Brooks bumps it up, narrowly missing the ceiling. And I think that was a little bit of an intimidation tactic. The Broncos ran really close to the net, preparing to just tap it over to Maplewood, but it didn't even get there. Broncos are serving again.
8-point lead for Bayless, 16-8 here in the second set. Less than 9 points away from winning it. We'll send it over to JV, who just started stretching.
Oh dear. Looks like a JV member was taken out.
So Elena Roberts is trying to walk their water bottle, and the dig goes over and knocks her right in the side of the head.
Oh, Helena was almost. This is a little bit of the danger zone for Helena currently.
I think Helena Roberts is a bit of maybe a magnet or something for the volleyball. That's 2 straight aces that kind of go and almost hit her for the Broncos. 18-8 now the score in the second set. Bayless on top. They won the first set. They win this one. Well, the JV contest is over. And then we'll get everything going for the varsity one, which is slated to start at 5 o'clock between both the Broncos and the Blue Devils. I'm Michael Langston alongside Michelle Ryan, our crew today, Mr. John Redden and Eliza Eggers. We got the JV contest going on right now, varsity right after this. A bit of a rivalry, too, between these 2 schools. Bayless and Maplewood always playing one another. Bayless, of course, from South County. MRH in St. Louis County as well, bordering St. Louis City just to the west, as that one goes out for a Bayless ace.
Despite it being the second set, Bayless hasn't lost any of its energy. I think it feels really good about its position currently. As Brooks tries to bump it up, trying to save that powerful serve, it goes out of bounds and Bayless is serving again.
You're talking to the head coach for Bayless's varsity team before this. He said while they haven't yet made it to a 4th or 5th set in any of their contests, he really believes that if they do end up going to a 4th or a 5th set, that this team has the mental and physical endurance in them to get a win out of it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lot of work going to the 5 sets. Abby Stone, who's on the varsity team, said they were very tired. You know, by the 5th set playing against Brentwood, there was a worry that Brentwood might win just because Maplewood was exhausted. So I'm sure, I mean, it looks like Bayless is ahead currently, which I'm sure neither JV or varsity is wanting to lose, but there's also that, oh no, what if they play harder than we anticipated and we go the 5 sets?
Might be a bit of just mentality with it as well, as that spike will go out. It, of course, is MRH's first day of spring break today. The students didn't have any class. Teachers and everyone, they were here, some of them getting a dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Players, though, got an opportunity to just get an off day from school, as Bayless now has match point. And Coach Carmen said before this contest that with that, she thinks the amount of rest the players are going to be able to get next week, just not having to worry about the pressure of a game, it will help them in the long run.
A bump by Maplewood, another bump. And it's bumped over to the Broncos. A set. Wow, a great dig. But still, the Broncos win the JV game by securing both matches.
25-9, the final in the second set. Bayless, of course, won the first one. This one is over. Stay tuned. Stay on this link as well, the MRH Volleyball YouTube channel. Be sure to hit subscribe, maybe like the stream, and also click that bell icon. That way you can be notified of whenever we're going live for MRH Volleyball home matchups. JV is over. Bayless won. Varsity getting ready to go. Michael Langston alongside Michelle Ryan, Eliza Eggers, and John Redd. We're going to take a quick break. We will be back before the start of the varsity match. Stay tuned, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to MRH High School. This time we're going to have the varsity matchup for you. I'm Michael Langston alongside Michelle Ryan. Crew today, Eliza Eggers and Mr. John Redden. This is the varsity matchup between the Bayless Broncos and the MRH Blue Devils. Bayless won the JV matchup, and then the varsity squad here for Bayless, they have been undefeated so far this year. But for Maplewood, they'll be on the left or near side of your screen. Wearing blue tops, black bottoms. Their libero on the bench currently, Rachel Dickens. She is wearing a black top and black bottom. Over for Bayless, they are using a libero as well on the right or far side of your screen. Looks like it's number 7, Peony Young. She's wearing the white top and black bottoms. The rest of the Bayless squad, though, green tops, black bottoms over there. For the Blue Devils, their starting lineup, who we see on the court right now. Looks like you've got Chloe Moreland, Diana Jones, Addie Nevins, Abby Stone, Amber Day. Looks like on the far side of the court, maybe Helena Roberts. As Bayless to serve, and we are underway. Bump over by Moreland to set up Bayless, and they will spike it hard back. Moreland with the one-handed bump to try and save it, and Nevins gets it over, but it will go out of bounds. Good hard serve to start it off for the Bayless Broncos. Sophia Barton to serve. As that one goes out, I was talking to Coach Roberts before the game for Bayless. He said this team, in his 17 seasons as a coach, probably the tallest and most talented squad that he's had. One of those people being Sophia Barton, who transferred in from a high school up in North County and feels like she's been a diamond in the rough that just kind of plopped in the lap of the Broncos, and she's been a big part of their squad. It's the serve there by Jones for the Broncos to play. And now Maplewood's opportunity. 2 bumps and then setting up a spike that's saved by Nevins. Moreland setting up Stone. She sets it, Bayless. A set there that will result in a point for Maplewood. They're going to call a double hit on Mariah Kurth. And now Jones once more on a hard serve, a diving play there by Young to save it. And the Blue Devils end up with the point.
We're hearing a lot of energy from MRH's JV in the corner.
Got their JV team on the bench. You got Coach Carmen over there with Coach Noby on the far side on the bench. As that one will go out. And the Blue Devils get the point. And see Coach Roberts trying to step up the intensity a bit. Don't blame him there. He talked about it before the game. This is a bit of a big rivalry, but it's been very one-sided for almost the past decade as Jones hits it way out. The last time the Blue Devils lost to Bayless, you got to go back to September 13th, 2016. That's 10 straight wins for MRH. It's a hard serve there. That will go for an ace by Irma Hersich. The last time Maplewood lost at home to the Broncos, got to go back to September of 2012. A lot of the current players from back then, they were in probably elementary school or maybe even preschool. I'm guessing more elementary if my math's right. I think Carmen's going to get mad at me if I get my math wrong.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who don't know, Carmen is also the freshman math teacher and our volleyball coach for our varsity team. And she's taken every game so far very seriously, despite the 2 losses the volleyball team has had. They're definitely hoping to bag this one. So far, though, the Broncos have been very strong. They've won all of their matches for this season, and so they're coming in with a bit of a winning streak that MRH is hoping to upset. But like Michael said, so far MRH has had a good run against the Broncos, so I'm sure they're hoping to follow that precedent.
That one kind of falls into no man's land. Moreland letting it hit the ground, and now the score 5-4. The Blue Devils on top early in the first set. We're seeing a lot of good intensity as you have Amina Chadic to serve for Bayless. Maplewood playing it. It's a spike there by Roberts. And it will result in a Blue Devil point. Now coming in for Bayless, that'll be number 3, Ashley Wynn, as it's Roberts who serves. Close play at the net. There's a definite net violation, and it will go against the Broncos. We saw that a lot yesterday against Crossroads, a lot of net violations that resulted in points against the Blue Devils. Day setting up Stone with the hard spike. That will go for a kill.
I was just talking to, as I said, during the JV match, Abby Stone and I were able to talk about what they're hoping to achieve in this game against Bayless, and they're just hoping to eliminate the small errors that might come up. They're very confident players. They have the skills. They're very proud of the freshmen that are currently in JV. They're coming with lots of skills, but there's a hope to just eliminate the little communication errors, the mistakes that can befall anyone, which could ultimately decide this game.
That was a bit of a communication error that just gave them that last point loss, and they lose another one here off of a good block by the Broncos. Kayla Anderson now to serve for Bayless. It's a good overhand serve that results in 2 bumps and then a set by Stone. Now Bayless to play off a big spike. Dickens dives. She's unable to get there. Talk about the size of this Bayless team. Like we said earlier, Coach Robert saying that this is probably one of the tallest teams that he's had, using their size to an advantage. And now MRH trying to play. Nevins having to backtrack a bit and spike it. That spike goes down under the net though, and now Anderson will serve again. And it will go out for a Broncos ace. With all of the contests that we're going to see this spring, number 1 with the new rules, and number 2, it's only interconference. So you're going to see Bayless, you're going to see Hancock, Valley Park, and Brentwood a lot. The rivalries will continue to be renewed, and you'll play a lot of close matches. We're seeing that here as there's a spike by the Broncos, and Dickens sends it back over. But it doesn't actually go.
Broncos attackers are very tall. With just a small hop, they were able to make sure that volleyball didn't pass over to their side of the net.
It was Adelina Hurich there for Bayless with her tall, intimidating presence by the net as Maplewood trying to play it on a spike by Nevins. Good dig there by the Blue Devils. Now Hurich, just a little tap move there. And the Broncos going on a run. 11-8 now. First set will play to 25. It's a best 3 of 5. The 5th set though, you only play to 15, but you gotta win by 2. Nevin setting up off of the spike, and a good block of a Stone set.
This is the 3rd time I've seen Hurich do that. She definitely is in her element right there. Very intimidating if you're a Blue Devil standing near the net.
Hurich last game played a great one, but Addie Nevins there shoves that point back down the Broncos' throat. As Ayanna Jones will check in for MRH, Addie Nevins in the last contest.
Stone serving.
The sophomore middle hitter had 2 attack attempts. That was Nevins, but Stone gets one off of the bump of Young for the MR Ace. And Now Stone again. 3 aces in the last contest.
A set by the Broncos and a spike. Stone comes in to bump it.
And now Moreland trying to get the bump on it. You can see that too where she was setting up. She was trying to lean her body back and then bump it and get a top spin on it to get it to go back over the net, but it just kind of hit a little awkwardly. And now Peony Young for Bayless serves it overhand, but right out of bounds. And now the service rotations occur. The Blue Devils serving for them will be Amber Day. Overhand serve just barely goes out. It was a good read there by Ashley Wynn of Bayless just to let it go. Now Kurth will check back in for the Broncos. If you are just joining us now, MRH Gymnasium here for the action between the MRH Blue Devils and Bayless Broncos. Bayless won the JV matchup. We're in varsity as Abby Stone spikes that one into the net. Armina Malkic now for Bayless. And that will go for an ace.
Looks like Robert tried her best to save it. Both the JV and varsity for Bayless have been very strong servers.
That was what kind of killed the Blue Devils a bit yesterday against Crossroads. They just continually as that's a big spike there by Jones. That is blocked by an even bigger block by Irma Hersic. And now the Blue Devils will take a timeout, 17-11. It's a 6-point difference here at MRH High School. I'm Michael Linkson alongside Michelle Ryan, our crew today, Eliza Eggers, and Mr. John Redden. And Michelle, we saw yesterday the Blue Devils had a bit of a struggle, especially late in closer sets, where they were just letting too many aces for the other squad hit the floor. We're seeing a bit of that now early. What do you think they need to do to reverse that?
Well, definitely make it so that there are considerable volleys. Make it so that they're communicating a bit more, because that's what we saw against Brentwood, even though they did win that game, but I'm sure also for the 2 losses, the constant server errors that will result in the serve going to the other team, an ace being scored, being able to rack up points with aces is a very effective way to put distance between you and your opponent. And when the other team is using that strategy against Maplewood, it's very hard to regain that lead, especially if they have great servers. So I'm sure they don't want to run afoul of the same strategy. Again, seeing how strong Bayless can serve.
You saw right there Ayana Jones using her presence to pick up the point for the Blue Devils. Talking to Coach Carmen before the game, she said Ayana Jones is one of the most coachable players that she's got, as that serve goes over by Nevins. She also believes that Jones is one of the hardest workers that this squad has, as Jones puts it back over and Bayless to play. Going up, a block there off of a move by Roberts. And once again, Irma Hersic making her presence known in front of the net. The gym gets quiet as Sophia Barton hits the overhand serve into the net. And now Nevins will go to the backcourt and wait for Ayana Jones. Jones also plays basketball. And in the last contest, 16 serves and 12 points. It's a hard spike there by Bayless. That bounces around a bit for MRH, and it goes for a Bronco point. Rachel Dickens will check in for the Blue Devils. Number 3, wearing the black top and black bottom on the near side or left side of your screen. MRH, blue tops, black bottoms. And the serve goes for an ace for Bayless. They do their little call and response.
I don't think Dickens was expecting to see some action so quickly in the game.
So quickly right off of just that serve alone, too, as that one goes off of Nevins. Hard overhand serve for the ace. 2 straight aces. You can hear Coach Carmen coaching on her team, trying to tell them how to prepare for it, as they will say it deflected off of Nevins and went out for the Bayless point. It was very close at the line.
Yeah. It looked like Nevins had drew back when she saw it past the line, but I guess the referees are saying it just brushed her fingertips.
And there goes another ace. So you've had like 4 aces in these past 5 points, and now the Broncos.
Currently the Broncos are at 23 points to MRH's 13. With 2 more points, they could win this match.
Bayless gearing up to win their first set against Maplewood since August of 2017. Setting up for a big overhand spike there that Nevins.
That was a great read. She ducked in time for it to go out of bounds. She didn't touch it and was able to reclaim the serve for MRH.
Looked like she was getting ready to do a set there, but then just squatted down a little lower, let it go over her head. It was a good play as that ball goes off of the tarp up top, hanging from the ceiling, and it goes for an MR ace. You know, we talked about the rafters in JV. We're seeing the tarp come into play for varsity.
Oh yeah, it's just a canopy of our basketball nets, of the different rafters, especially when you're seeing these powerful serves and bumps. Things can easily get stuck up there. I'm seeing another volleyball that is stuck in the rafters from a game probably years ago. Oh, look at that. Dickens, the MRH's libero, attempts to dig.
This is a good play there, and Nevins almost completely saved the play. Now Amina Chadic will come in to serve. 24-15, the Broncos at match point here for the first set. 2 bumps results in a third. And Bayless will play on a ball that looked like it might have gone out of bounds. And not a wise choice as they're unable to corral it. Blue Devils now down by 8. 24-16, Roberts hits it on a serve that just goes over the net and will go down as an MR ace. Roberts again with the serve. Bayless playing it right at the net, setting up for a spike. That's an easy kill there, and that ends the first set. MRH losing its first set to the Broncos for the first time since 2017. And with that, they'll take a breather. We'll take a breather. We'll talk about it as they get ready for the second set. Bayless wins the first one. I'm Michael Langston here, bringing you this girls volleyball broadcast. Varsity action going on now. We had JV before this. Alongside me, Michelle Ryan. I've got Eliza Agers working crew with us today. And then we also have Mr. John Redden. Who knows what all the buttons do?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a workshop set up here. We're up here in the bleachers on the stairwell. We've got 2 cameras pointed at the game. With a lot of flashing lights going on. We definitely had to change just our system for volleyball games. Usually these stands would be packed with spectators for both teams, but as the only people who can watch the games in the gym are the JV or the varsity, depending on who's playing, we have to broadcast, which I guess has opened up a new audience for people who might not usually go to games here. They'll be able to watch them at home.
Most definitely. And if you are watching right now on the YouTube stream for the MRH Volleyball YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe, maybe drop the stream a like. Also, remember to hit that bell icon. That way you are notified anytime we're going live for MRH Volleyball home games. Speaking of home games. The next time that the Blue Devils will play, it actually isn't a home game. They've been home all season. This will be their fourth, yeah, it is their fourth overall. Carmen's going to get mad at me. I'm losing my math skills for a second. This is their fourth home matchup of the season. After this, though, after Blue Devils spring break, which started today, will be all next week, MRH will head to Brentwood. That is on March 29th, 4:15 for JV, 5:15 for varsity. You can see Bayless coming out of their huddle. They're hyped up. They're ready to go. The Blue Devils, a bit more reserved. But nonetheless, they look prepared. You can see Ellen Powell checking in for MRH. Same with Tegan Daw. Broncos on the right side of your screen. Green tops and black bottoms. Save for their libero, who's wearing a white top with a black bottom. Blue Devils on the left side, blue tops, black bottoms, except for the libero, black top, black bottom. That will be an MR race to start it off by the senior Tegan Daw.
All right, so Daw is preparing to serve. A bump by the Broncos. And a spike over to MRH. Powell sets it up, and Stone bumps it over to the Broncos. Broncos libero bumps it, and with a spike, MRH has it. They've bumped it. Unfortunately, it looks like no one was there in that left corner, and the Broncos will be serving.
You can see their senior Sophia Barton, the outside hitter, with 3 kills against Brentwood.
MRH's libero Dickens tries to get in there with a dig, but the Broncos will be serving again.
That's Barton once more serving. Against Brentwood, too, Barton, 2 aces on her 16 serves against the Eagles.
Broncos managed to just save a ball that was going out, and they managed to get a point off of it.
It's a good play there by Addie Nevins to wind up for the spike. And then a good return spike that Maplewood tried to play back over quickly, but just didn't result in a good point. And that one right there goes in the middle of Dickens, Powell, and Daw for the ace.
Barton serving again for the Broncos. She's managing to rack up a number of aces so far. Dickens manages to bump, and with a set by Maplewood, it's back over to the Broncos. The Broncos save a ball from going out, and Dickens bumps it. Another bump.
That one goes down as 4. You saw Nevins there trying to make the play. She had the same problem on that one that Moreland had a little while ago in the first set, where just trying to make a good bump to get the ball to curl, and it just didn't. That one right there, though, that's what she was trying to do initially.
Again, Herchitz with her great height manages to just tap the ball over, and the volleyball hits the floor. Barton will be serving again for the Broncos.
Irma Hersich, the senior middle hitter. 6 kills in Bayless's last contest. Bayless is going on a run to start off this thing early. 7-1 the score. The Broncos on top. Remember, we'll play best 3 of 5. So the Blue Devils, if they lose this as that one goes out for another ace, they'll have a chance to win 3 straight. But knowing Coach Carmen, she wants to win this one. She wants to find a way to come back and then win the next 2, send them home in 4.
Dickens with a bump. Stone tries to stick her arm out to save it. And Barton serving again. She's on a roll.
She only had 2 aces to 16 serves last game. I've got to imagine she's at least doubled, maybe tripled that now, as that one is a fantastic block by Hersich. Almost flat-footed. She just
didn't even
stuck.
have to stand up. She just sort of
stuck her arms up.
Great dig by Maplewood. There, Stone tried to save it with her foot, but Barton's going to be serving again.
Barton will take a break, though, from it. Maplewood hoping to break the run that the Broncos have been on. It's 11-1. Blue Devils call their first timeout of the second set. If you're just joining us here on the MRH Volleyball YouTube channel, be sure to drop the stream a like, maybe subscribe. Click that notification bell to be notified of when we go live next for all of the varsity volleyball as well as JV volleyball home games. Due to COVID protocols, we don't want to risk people having an audience in the stands, so we're going to be all broadcasting for our home games. I'm Michael Langston alongside Michelle Ryan. Eliza Agers is our crew today, along with Mr. John Redden. As coming out of the break, the tarp comes into play once again, Michelle.
Yes, Michael, you predicted it the very first game against Brentwood. You asked me how far will the tarp's presence go in this game, and so far with all these powerful bumps and serves, it has been a presence. Doesn't help that the gym ceiling in here is rather low. And a very powerful block by Bayless. The ball hits the floor and Barton is serving again.
We had Kayla Anderson there with the going up and doing something with it. That was one of the players Coach Roberts brought up in the pregame interview as someone he's really happy with her performance thus far this season.
A set by Bayless. They send it over to MRH. And it looked like the basketball equipment got in the way. Dickens, MRH's libero, wasn't able to save it.
We got the tarp, we've had the rafters, we got the hoops. The last thing I think now that needs to get in the way is someone needs to find a way to get the ball up here. And we bump it back down.
Dickens with a powerful bump. And again, Herchik manages to spike it.
That's Irma Hersic. You're seeing there number 5 right next to the net.
A great bump by Maplewood. And again, a block by Maplewood as Broncos are trying to get it through. Stone with a bump. Here we've got a set and a spike. MRH has it. And again, Bayless, so far we've seen some great action just at the front of the net there. They've got some very tall attackers.
Good play there, though, by Abby Stone and a good attempt by Chloe Moreland. Stone keeping it alive on the bump, and then Moreland almost laying out completely. And then, of course, Nevins with a really good net front presence in that last volley.
A bump by Maplewood, and then it's sent over by Moreland. A set by the Broncos, and again, Anderson from the Broncos. She's done this maybe 2 or 3 times in that corner. She's able just to get in, and the ball hits the floor.
Anderson checks out. Coming in will be Dubinovich for the Broncos.
The Broncos with a serve that is out. MRH has the serve now, which I'm sure they're glad of. The Broncos were able to rack up a number of points through aces and through their very powerful players near the net there.
You know, it's only a 15-point deficit. I think Coach Carmen can make this up. Okay, no, maybe it's 16 again. I might have just jinxed it a little bit.
Oh, now it's 18. Looks like they updated the scoreboard.
18-2, 16 separating these two squads. As number 1, there will be a sub, a normal sub, and then a libero sub. That's Eldina Yakubovic coming in for the Broncos. And she will serve.
It looked like Stone thought that was out just on the line. The hard part about volleyball is if any part of the ball touches that cream line right there, then it is in. So it's a little bit hard depth perception comes into play. You don't want to hit something that could potentially be out and gain a point, but at the same time, you don't want to leave something.
Abby Stone using her power, but maybe just a bit too much of it.
Jakubovic is serving again for Bayless. Lots of B's.
We'll get it, it's okay. Hey, there's a point for Maplewood. And it looks like Coach Roberts over at Bayless, he's still got some of these very big, very intimidating parts of his net front presence out there, but he's also subbing in some bench players that might not necessarily get a lot of playing time otherwise. But now you have Nevins to serve for the Blue Devils. She's been a bit of a better player so far today, as that one goes for an MRH.
That looked like a surprising communication error for Bayless. We haven't seen that sort of mistake happen in the game yet for their varsity. Nevins serving again. It hits the net.
Yeah,
Wynn is subbing in to serve.
Chadic checking out for Wynn.
And wow, great dig by Maplewood. And a bump by Bayless. There we have Maplewood sets it up. And again, Bayless is very tall attackers. Just tap it in. Wynn serving again.
Adelina Hurich using her net front presence very much like her similarly named teammate Irma Hersic, as that one will go out. MRH down by 19. The score is 23-4 in the second set. Bayless won the first set, their first set victory against the Blue Devils since 2017, looking to end a 10-match losing streak and win their first match here at Maplewood overall since 2012.
Look at that, a very powerful bump by Powell that reached to Bayless, but again, Bayless just taps it over. They have a very big net presence in this game. I'm sure there's an intimidation factor as well, having a very tall person jump in front of you like that to fend off the ball. Powell again with a bump, and Stone sends it over for MRH, a set by Bayless. Stone gives her best attempt to save it.
Bayless, don't celebrate too early now. Now you can celebrate. They are incredibly happy. You can hear the coach, Coach Roberts getting hype. He knows it's a big rivalry. Coach Carmen knows it's a big rivalry, wanting to end what has been almost a decade-long losing streak to the Blue Devils. And you could see the presence there by Dubinovic on that block. You're seeing in front of the net Irma Hersic using her presence. Her teammate, Adelita Hurich, using her presence. This is a big Bayless squad.
Oh, definitely. And I'm sure they're hoping to win this third set. That means they win the match and they get to go home early.
You're just joining us here. We're at MRH High School on the MRH Volleyball YouTube channel. Be sure to drop a like, maybe subscribe, turn on that bell icon. Bayless wins the first two sets of the varsity matchup. My name is Mike Langston. I'm alongside Michelle Ryan, our crew today, Eliza Eggers. Mr. John Redden was joining us earlier in the contest. Bayless won the first two sets of not only this one, but also the JV contest. They swept that one. We'll play best 3 of 5 for varsity. That's a new rule here. The Blue Devils on the left or near side of your screen when they come back out there wearing the blue tops, black bottoms. Their libero, number 3, Rachel Dickens, if she comes onto the court at any point, she's wearing the black top and black bottoms. Bayless on the right side of your screen, or the far side there in the back far corner. You can see Coach Roberts talking to him now. Black tops, or black bottoms, excuse me, with green tops. The libero for them, number 7, Peony Young. She is wearing a white top with a black bottom.
I'm sure Maplewood wasn't expecting this level of energy from Bayless, seeing as they've won against the team for a number of years now. So Bayless's coach said he felt very confident about their team. that he felt like it was a very good group of girls, and we're definitely seeing that tonight as they won the JV. They've won the first 2 sets of this match, and they're still energetic as ever despite the exhaustion that I'm sure is setting in now. There's been some very powerful plays, some volleys and very strong serves. The rafters and the tarp, it's all come into play on the ceiling of the gym.
And of course, Coach Roberts over for the Broncos said that the rivalry doesn't affect his preparation, but he does have a lot of respect for Coach Cheryl Carmen of the Blue Devils, and that he also tells his players, and he always has his game plan set to play as if they're down. Right now, though, he's playing up with a 2-0 set lead. The Blue Devils will need to pull off 3 straight wins of sets in a row to officially end what Bayless is hoping to be their 12th straight set win to start off the season, and what they also are hoping to be their 4th straight match win. Undefeated in every set, undefeated in every match. The Broncos to start off the spring season, as you can see, they're getting hype out on the court. JV in the stands below us, making sure they're setting up the serving order right, and we are ready for the 3rd set.
If Bayless wins this 3rd set, then they will win the match. Meanwhile, MRH is hoping to win this set and the next set to play to the 5 sets.
Now Blue Devils with it, setting up Ayanna Jones, who with a good spike just puts it right into the net. And MRH hoping that this time around they don't get behind by 20-plus points, as Bayless just went on a tear of runs.
Especially with the number of aces they were able to rack up. They were pummeling just the back of the court where the players might bunch up toward the front of the net, since they have such powerful attackers and not really defend the back of the court.
That one is a great bump there that kind of catches Bayless a bit by surprise.
Ayanna Jones is going to serve for Maplewood.
Now Bayless playing it.
Bayless's libero bumps it back, and it just slips through the hands
of Amber Day. And now Bayless with the serve. Day setting something up there. Blue Devils put it back over.
A set by Bayless and a spike. Maplewood's libero fends it off. Amber Day.
That will go down as 4 hits. It was a good attempt there to try and get it to play well, but doesn't result in the way they want it. Addie Nevins, you want to see her out on the court, but right now she's sitting on the bench with an ice pack on her ankle. See injury woes starting to hit the Blue Devils a bit. They've been real busy as of late. As that ball goes off the rafters, Moreland tries to save it, but is unable to. The Broncos now up 4-1. Bayless also having their own injury woes. Cormia White, the junior defensive specialist for Bayless, also injured for them, unable to play in this contest, as a good spike there clips the top of the net. The Blue Devils, they're not letting the deficit grow. 4-2.
Chloe Moreland serving for the Blue Devils. A good serve that Bayless bumps, saves from going out, and bumps back to Maplewood. Moreland runs in there to bump, and unfortunately it doesn't make it to the net for Maplewood.
Bit of scramble action that we're seeing here, a bit of back and forth. Coach Carmen talked about she wanted this team to work on their defensive abilities. We saw against Hancock it was kind of iffy. Here against Bayless, the communication aspect has been a big woe, and also just defending off of a serve. as Bayless will pick up a point off of that serve. Amita Chadic. And again,
a great dig by Dickens and another save by her, but unfortunately Bayless gets the point.
Amber Day is getting a bit unlucky there. Had the ball kind of jump up as she's trying to bump it over her head or bump up for a spike or something like that.
Chadic with a powerful serve, and Lena Robinson glances off the inside of her elbows and goes out of bounds. She'll be serving again for Bayless.
Chadic, one of the tall player presences that the Broncos have. You've seen a lot too for Maplewood. They'll take a ball and they'll try to bump it. It takes a weird angle and it hits them right in the wrist where they want it to, but then it'll hit them in the chin. You saw that with Day, but you don't see that here, as that one will go for a Broncos kill. 7 points separate these two squads. 9-2 the score. The Broncos of Bayless leading the Blue Devils of MRH. Good serve there. That will fall in bounds. It looks like the line judge is being... The line judge wasn't 100% sure there, I think, of the call, but they said it was out of bounds. They gave it to Maplewood. That one looked in.
It was a very powerful serve. I'm not surprised that it was out of bounds. I mean, from where I'm sitting at the corner, it did look out of bounds, but there was a little bit of discrepancy there between teams.
You could hear everyone yelling, "Let it go," but the Blue Devils won't on that back line as they set up again. That's Wynn who spikes it. It hits the top of the net and drops down.
It's always difficult when the tape gets involved on the top of the neck. You don't know if it will tip and fall on the opposing team's side of the court. It can be very difficult to tell.
They try to get that thing as tight as possible, as there's a lot of close net play. The Blue Devils were able to get it back, but they bump it out. Now 11-3 the score. Broncos, we mentioned this in the JV game. Broncos, they spell their mascot BRONCH. There's an H in there, OS. So sometimes if you hear us accidentally call them the Bronchos, we apologize. That's just kind of how it's spelled, kind of a unique spelling. As now senior Tegan Daw. She will serve for the Blue Devils. Quick little move there for Bayless to try and do something. Instead, Jones will spike it for MRH. Put back move once again. That's Malkich for the Blue Devil, for the Broncos doing that. A hard spike there. That one hits the ground.
Gregory seems to be very good at being able to get there where she's needed, being able to read the space. She's been able to save two balls just by being there, sticking her arm out and bumping it.
It was Hurich on the kill for Bayless. Jones sets up Day on the bump. Bayless to play. Going up for a hard spike. That's Barton. Dickens with a great one-handed save. MRH plays it back. Good sequence there by the Blue Devils. Can they block? They cannot. The lead for Bayless up to 9 here in the third set after winning the first two. Decisively, I might add. As that serve goes out for an ace. Now the lead grows to 10. Unless the scoreboard was wrong and they just decided to keep it. I think it's still a 9-point lead for the Broncos.
Young with a serve, just glances off Maplewood, and they'll be serving again.
Okay, I think the scoreboard might be frozen. So I think it's supposed to be 14-4. Now it's 15-4. There you go.
Takes a moment.
Got everything right, as that was a hard spike there by Ayana Jones, setting up another spike by Bayless. But the luck for Irma Hersich there just wasn't really there.
I'm sure Maplewood is glad to be serving now. There's a 10-point lead in Bayless's favor, being able to rack up points on aces.
And that one will result in an MRH point.
Bayless's libero ran all the way out there to the chairs to try and save it.
Sometimes you're a bit worried too if a player is sprinting full speed, especially towards the bench to try and play a ball that goes out. You don't want them to accidentally run into something like right there too. As that one is an MR ace. 15-7.
Amber Day serving again.
Blue Devils cutting down the lead a bit, hoping to come back, win this third set, force a fourth, and then hopefully a fifth. As that spike is in, that one is an ace. Bayless again using their big net front presence.
Kurth subs in for Young.
Now will be Malkic for Bayless. Dickens to Moreland with the play at the net. Cannot get handled there by Kurth.
Apologies, Young is still in. That was Wynn that was subbed out.
Dickens will check out for the Blue Devils, the libero. And now MRH will serve. That was Roberts that had the serve, and now Bayless all the way at their back line, unable to hit it back over. You got to hit it just right. You got to have a ton of power behind it when you try and bump all the way from the back line over the net.
MRH is definitely making up ground here. Unfortunately, they hit the net, and it's back at Bayless, but they were able to get to 10 points, so there's a 7-point difference. Currently, they have a chance for this set still.
I don't know if I've ever seen a coach that doesn't sit at any point during the match. And Coach Roberts for the Broncos, as that ball just out of bounds on the Blue Devils spike will result in a Broncos point. Coach Roberts for Bayless hasn't sat once. He's been up, he's been animated, cheering on his squad from his side of the bench as that one gets hit into the rafters, and the Blue Devils are able to save it. One of the rare saves we've seen on a ball off the rafters. And they will give the Blue Devils the point there as Bayless was lining up for the spike. They give it on a double hit. And now Ayanna Jones to serve. 18-11. MRH, they've still got air left, but they're gasping for it here.
And that was a strong serve. You could hear that. A bump by Bayless. Amber Day runs in there, and it's bumped over to Bayless again.
Now you see a good spike by the Broncos to set something up. MRH playing with the ball way up high in the air. Instead, they'll play it safe and bump it. Bayless having to scramble, and they are unable to come up with it. 6 points now separating these two. 18-12, the Broncos on top. Ayanna Jones once again to serve. Had a great contest yesterday, but that serve will head out of bounds.
MRH's libero is back in.
You notice this a lot with Bayless. When they do a serve, they'll do a double serve. The libero will come out, and then they'll also do a normal serve, or a normal substitution, which affects their service rotation a bit more as that serve goes into the net. 6-point lead once again, 19-13. As Moreland, the senior outside hitter.
Bayless spikes it over to Maplewood.
Daw playing it here on a bump. Moreland back over. A quick play there, and now Maplewood to recover. Overhead bump to send it back. Bayless having to dive here to play for it, and it goes off of the net. The Blue Devils pick up the point. You know, they always say the hardest thing to win is that last one. The hardest point to win is that last one. Well, they're not at match point yet this third set. Even though the Blue Devils are down, it's proving to be a bit of a hard one for Bayless to win. Has a good play there in the backcourt. Will set up Day for Daw on the spike. that Bayless with the quick play, but they double hit it, and the Blue Devils reduce the lead to 4. We're in the third set here. Bayless won the first 2. If MRH wins, we'll go to a fourth. If Bayless wins this one, as that goes down as an MR ace, put the point up on the board.
I think the energy is coming back for MRH. When there was a 10-point difference, it was a little bit hard to keep playing with enthusiasm, but that lead is closing for Bayless.
It's the best way to play is if your back's against the wall. Right now, Maplewood.
Number 8 sets it, and it's sent over to Bayless.
Good one-handed play, quick net play here by MRH. Thought they would be able to scramble and get the point, but Bayless gets it. You can hear their entire JV squad getting hype over there on the far side of the court. On the right side of the court. Because we're at kind of a diagonal angle with the camera. The far side can also be the right side of your screen, depending on where you're at, as that one will go for an ace. Shot it for the Broncos. Gets it, and instead of serving again, there will be a timeout called here at MRH High School. Girls varsity volleyball action between the Broncos of Bayless and the Blue Devils of MRH. I'm Michael Langston alongside Michelle Ryan, our crew today, Eliza Eggers. Mr. John Redden was joining us earlier. Bayless won the first 2 sets. If they get to 25 first in this third one, well, we'll call it a day.
There's only 4 points until Bayless wins, so of course they're going to fight for those 4 points. But MRH will want to drag those out. If they win, then we will go to another set. If Bayless wins, then they will have won this match.
And Bayless, well, they'll win their 12th straight set, their 4th straight match, and will have ended a losing streak at MRH that has lasted since 2012 in this building. They've already ended 1 losing streak. They won their first set against the Blue Devils since 2017. Hoping to win their first overall against MRH, as that serve does indeed go out. There's a bit of controversy there, but from our angle, we can clearly see that ball went out. They said Bayless trying to win their first match against Maplewood since 2016. First match on the road against Maplewood since 2012. Served there by the Blue Devils that Bayless bumps back. Day setting up Daw. One-handed move that gets over the 2 big blockers in front. That has been a nagging issue this entire contest, how big Bayless's net front presence is, and Daw figures it out there.
Yeah, I'm sure that felt very good for Daw, just being able to get that over the net, especially with the intimidating and very tall blockers Bayless has. Being able to just sneak it in there, it gave MRH a much-needed point.
And now Bayless setting up for something here. Kayla Anderson pulls a little bit of a Daw herself. A weak little movement there, and now they have the set point, the match point, the game point, whatever point you want to call it. 1 more, and the Broncos win their 4th straight of the year.
Daw bumps it up, and oh, it's just tapped over by Bayless. And they have won the match.
In the first time since 2012. There's a lot of stats associated with the year 2012. Most of them disastrous, but right now for the Broncos, elation. They win their first in this building.
They came
since
in with
Barack
energy.
Obama was president.
Oh my gosh, when you put it that way, it's been a very long game for Bayless, just constantly facing MRH to no avail. They came in here with energy, and it carried them through the entire game. And to win in this building, an away game, must feel very good for them. I don't think MRH was expecting that sort of playing from a team that they have won consistently against, but they did their very best.
It's a clean sweep here for the Broncos, winning both JV and varsity. Next up for the Blue Devils, they get all of next week off. Of course, it is their spring break, so Michelle, have a fun spring break. All of the students for MRH have a fun spring break as well. Their next volleyball matchup, the 29th of March at Brentwood. That game starts at 4:15 for JV, 5:15 for varsity. And for Bayless, your next matchup is on Tuesday, the 23rd of March. You guys are going to be at Hancock down at the Tiger Dome. Varsity starts at 12:30 p.m. For Michelle Ryan and our crew of Eliza Eggers and Mr. John Redden, my name is Michael Langston. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Be sure to like the stream, subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on that bell icon, be notified of when we're going to go live next with volleyball action. Bayless winning their first at MRH since 2012, and we will see you all next time.